Hello everyone and welcome back to Affinity for Commander. My name is Alex.
And my name is Martin.
And welcome to our new series, Good for EDH, where we look through the cards of each colour from the new upcoming set, Guilds of Ravnica, and pick our favourites for the best format in Magic the Gathering.
Is it modern?
It's the channel name. It's that.
Oh, okay.
So Martin is going to start us off with the best of the white cards.
Yeah, so the first card that really gained my attention was Bounty Agent. For 1 and a white, you get a 2/2 human soldier with vigilance, which is okay, but nothing to write home about.
It's a bear.
It's a bear with vigilance.
Vigilance.
But the thing that got my attention was the tap, sacrifice Bounty Agent, destroy target legendary permanent that's an artifact, creature, or enchantment. So, in theory, you play this turn 2. Turn 3, you can swing with it. It has vigilance, so you can use its ability the same turn. 4, it can kill commanders, which is perfect. It's 2 mana kill spell for a commander. It can deal with pesky cards such as Oath of Teferi, or the Chain Veil, or any other weird legendary enchantments that might be floating about, or legendary artifacts, or legendary creatures. So, it's a 2 mana kill spell on a body, which is pretty cool, right?
That's pretty good.
The next one I saw that, first of all, the art is beautiful and that drew my attention, is Dawn of Hope. For 1 and a white, you get an enchantment that says whenever you gain life, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. And for 4 mana, you can create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. Now, the second part is okay, you know, in a pinch you can make a dude.
It's okay.
If you've got nothing left to do with your mana, just chuck it in there. But it's whenever you gain life, pay 2 to draw a card. That is handy in white. White needs card draw more than anything. So mono white decks, I think, will really love this.
It's also a great new toy for Oloro decks.
Yeah. Drawing cards is great. But that art is stunning, right?
Yeah, we're just going to take a moment to appreciate that particular art.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
And the third and final white card that I want to talk about is Divine Visitation, which has been getting a lot of interest on social media recently. From what we can gather, it's a replacement effect, right, for the tokens being produced. It doesn't make a 1/1 into a 4/4.
No. It's not a swapping effect. It's a instead of.
Yeah, so instead of making whatever, you make a 4/4, which is pretty cool. It's 5 mana enchantment that says if 1 or more creature tokens would be created under your control, that many 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance are created instead. So it's the vigilance as well as the flying, which we haven't seen before.
That's super good.
Super good. So you play this in a Kemba deck, for instance, and all your 1/1 cats. Was it 2/2 cats?
2/2 cats.
2/2 cats. Or 4/4 flying vigilant angels instead. So it'd be amazing in decks such as Gave, Recently Redeemed, or Kemba, just to name a few there. Anything that makes tokens could really benefit from this.
Tristani. Grand, so that's the last of the white cards. Moving on, we're going into the blue cards. And I've only got 2 to talk about. Because
Only 2?
But they're really good. So, just when you thought Snapcaster Mage was too expensive, we have its replacement right here. For a double blue, we have an instant Mission Briefing, which is Surveil 2, then choose an instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. You may cast that card this turn. If that card we put into your graveyard this turn, exile it instead.
So choose, not target, huh?
Yep, so if someone, for some bizarre reason, is running Surgical Extraction, or better yet, if someone is running Scavenging Ooze...
That's more likely.
Infinitely more likely. Then doesn't matter.
Or Deathrite Shaman, right?
Or Deathrite Shaman. You still get to get any card you want, and Surveil 2 gives you potentially 2 more options to choose from. And instant speed.
Yeah, so it is Snapcaster without the body. I personally would prefer a body, but the lack of targeting is great, and it just seems like it's a very good card, especially in spell-heavy decks, right?
Yeah, well it's the trade-up of a 2/1 body and not having to have double blue, for instead you get to Surveil 2, and you then don't have to choose. It's, does this resolve? Sweet, I now get this card.
And if there's something in your graveyard you already want, you can just leave the 2 on top of your library or get rid of any land cards there.
It's still pseudo card advantage. It's brilliant. Moving on to my other card, Omnispell Adept, which is a 5 mana, 4 generic and 1 blue, 3/4 human wizard with 2 generic and 1 blue tap. You may cast an instant or sorcery card from your hand without paying its mana cost.
That is good.
Do you know what's better than Expropriate?
Free Expropriate.
A 3-mana Expropriate.
Yeah.
What's better than Blatant Thievery? A 3-mana Blatant Thievery.
It does seem pretty good.
Now, it is 5 mana, and it can't use the ability right away. It's not super impactful.
In the right deck, though, right?
Yeah, you still have to wait for the table to wheel back round to you. But it's one of those, the setup is really good for what you can do next turn, especially in blue.
I can see it in a Mizzix deck. If Mizzix has been taken out of the equation and all your spells are high CMC because Mizzix cheapens them, it's like an alternate way of casting them for a cheaper cost, maybe?
Yeah, it's exactly like that. It's Mizzix is dead, this is plan B.
Plan B.
I will totally agree with that.
So on to black, which is one of the 2 best colours in this set. I think it's quite clear to see which way this set is going.
Yeah, someone went into Wizards with blue and black paint and they just went, yeah, that'll do.
Green and black, dear. So, Lotleth Giant is a 7-mana 6/5 zombie giant that says, Undergrowth. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to target opponent for each creature card in your graveyard. Now, you're not going to be casting this for 7 mana, and in Commander, you could do actually, right? But my idea of this is recursion. Deals someone 20 damage. It's not an unreasonable thing to think of. Which is sick when you can just recur it a few times, blast everyone on the table.
You're thinking too small, my dear. Deadeye Navigator is a card.
Oh, blinking, of course, yeah. So that's a pretty cool looking card.
Yeah, that's a, do you really want another combo piece? Of course you do.
Plague Crafter's another one. 2 and a black for a 3/2. Human Shaman, which says whenever it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, and each player who can't discards a card. So this is literally Fleshbag Marauder, almost as Executioner, but it hits planeswalkers if they don't have creatures, or if they do have creatures they can choose, and if they have nothing of value they discard, so you're still getting value from it. It's a better version in every circumstance. It's
just, what's the stats on it?
3/2.
It's literally better in every way.
Yeah, it's so good. And my final pick for black is Necrotic Wound, which is a 1-mana instant. Undergrowth, target creature gets -X/-X until the end of turn, where X is the number of creatures in your graveyard. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. So I like this because it exiles the thing once it's dead. You're not getting it back if they have some sort of recursion. And in a heavy-based creature deck, that will kill most things.
It also gets around indestructible.
It gets around indestructible, yes, which is, I hadn't even thought of that. I know some people are going to be saying, but what about Mausoleum Secrets? It's a tutor, you don't need us to tell you that tutors are great. But it only hits black things, which most combo pieces might not be black, right? It's a bit restricting, and...
It's 2 mana... I would like to go get my Machias the Unhallowed.
Yeah, it's going to be great in certain decks, but it's not the tutor for me.
Moving on to our red cards, you'll be surprised to learn there is only 2 of these cards as well, because red's awful in Commander.
I resent that.
I'm sure you do. Purpose is still okay though. Experimental Frenzy is 3 generic mana and 1 red for an enchantment. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may play the top card of your library. You can't play cards from your hand. And 3 generic mana and 1 red, destroy Experimental Frenzy.
That seems very bizarre, but very flavourful for Is It, right?
It is. But the main reason I like this is because of one particular goat.
Zedru?
Hi, Zedru.
Give it to your opponent.
Give it specifically to an opponent that doesn't have red mana.
But you have the issue of, if they're playing a deck that has a lot of small things, or Storm, they're going to love this. They can play cards on top of their library. I
am not giving this to the Storm player. I'm giving this to the mono green chap.
Yeah, the guy with all the huge creatures that can only play the top card.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a bad person.
It does seem like, even in the worst circumstance, and you've got it, you are, every time you cast a spell, you draw a card, really, but it has to be the one spell on top of your library.
Yeah, it's not too bad, but it's still funny, and I like it. And finally, does your opponent have an Ugin, and you don't like them having an Ugin? And do you have 3 mana? Well, here's Goblin Cratermaker just for you. 1 generic and 1 red for a 2/2 Goblin Warrior with 1 generic mana, sacrifice Goblin Cratermaker, choose 1. Goblin Cratermaker deals 2 damage to target creature. Meh. Destroy target colourless non-land permanent.
Non-land permanent, you
Non-land permanent.
That hits quite a lot.
That hits Eldrazi, that hits Karn, that hits the other Karn. Oh, I like this card a lot. Goblin's got a lot of support this set.
At the worst, it's a 2/2 for 2 that you can shock someone with.
Shock a creature, yeah, I think it can kill that white 2/2 bear.
It seems like it's very versatile. I like the amount of versatility on these cards in this set.
They are really good.
Cool. So, moving on to the green. Beast Whisperer is a 4-mana 2/3 elf druid that says whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. Elf players rejoice. Druid players rejoice. You have a card draw engine that's in your relevant creature types.
Any green deck. This is going in my Animar deck. This is just beautiful.
But Seton needs it more.
Yes, Seton needs it more.
The next one is Circuitous Root, which is a 4-mana sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards and or gate cards. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. This is literally a better version of Explosive Vegetation, because it can hit guild gates.
Literally.
Some people don't like guild gates because they come in tapped, they do nothing. I personally play them because I'm cheap. But being able to search for dual lands is good, right? And it's an old grade to Explosive Vegetation. There's no reason why you'd play that over this.
It seems good.
Yeah. And the final one is Golgari Raiders, a 4-mana elf warrior, 0/0. With Undergrowth, Golgari Raiders enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature card in your graveyard. Now, there are a lot of cards that have this type of effect. Liliana's Elite, Jared, Golgari Grave Troll. They all have this similar effect, and some of them are a lot cheaper than this guy.
Does that have haste?
That's the one thing they're all missing, haste. So say your opponent board wipes. That's more creatures in your graveyard to make this bigger. You play it in your swing. Or better yet, you board wipe and swing in your own turn with this guy. 4 mana is nothing in Commander once you're board wiped.
That's gross.
It is sick. It's just, why has it got haste? It's going to be huge in a Merrin deck.
What's that? We have a colour pie for particular mechanics of cards? Nah, get out of here.
It seems like Golgari is the most powerful colour combination for Commander that this set has, because it'd be okay in Standard, because there's some creature in your graveyard.
Meh.
Commander has 100 cards, you're going to have more creature in your grave. And that is it for the green.
Moving on to the colourless cards in the set. The new Locket artifacts. I actually quite like them.
Yeah, they're not as good as the Signets, better than the Cluestones.
Yeah, they're in that little middle ground. They're common.
They're playable.
Yeah, they're playable. If you can't get a hold of Signets and you just need some good ramp, they're common. They have late card draw, which I should probably tell them what they are beforehand. So, all Lockets are 3 generic mana, and they are the guild plus Locket. They're an artifact that tap for 1 colour of the guild, and then you have for 4 mana with the
hybrid mana symbols?
With the hybrid mana symbols of that guild, tap, sacrifice the Locket, draw 2 cards. It again is better than the Cluestones, not as good as the Signets. It's not early game ramp, but it does draw you 2 cards. Drawing cards is good.
Yeah, in a pinch you can sacrifice it for that.
And then we have a reprint of Chromatic Lantern.
We needed this so much.
Thank you, Wizards. Oh my god, it's beautiful. Just look at it. Look at it with that set symbol. It's beautiful. Yeah. And the rest of the artifacts are terrible. Moving on.
So, moving on to multicoloured. Let's get it out of the way first. This card, this one right here, we know it's good. It's going to see play in Standard, it's going to see play in Modern. It's going to see play in Commander.
It's good. We get it.
People know it's good. We don't need to talk about it. Let's go to the next one.
Moving on.
So, I like Golgari Find Broker, which is black, green, 3/4 for an Elf Shaman. It is your Eternal Witness Mark II. It's the same thing, but more expensive, harder to cast. But more Eternal Witness is better than less Eternal Witness, so I'll happy to take a second one for my Merrin.
Yeah, I think Merrin's very happy with it. I think the inclusion of black is obviously going to cut its ability to be played in a lot more decks. Eternal Witness is just pure green, but it's still good. It's going in Muldrotha. The next card I want to talk about is March of the Multitudes, which is X, 1 green, double white for an instant with Convoke. Create X 1/1 white sworder creature tokens with lifelink.
So that would be rubbish, but the Convoke makes it
The
great.
Convoke is just beautiful.
Because in a token deck, you can double the tokens you have with Convoke alone, right?
Oh yeah, if you want to just Convoke this out in a token deck, this reads green, white, white, double the number of tokens you have. Oh, they also have lifelink. That's just nice.
Yeah, it's a good card for decks.
It's pretty simplistic. It does what it says in the tin, but it also does absolutely nothing wrong and everything right.
And it's instant speed.
And instant speed.
Super. Next we have Firemind's Research. For a blue and a red, you have an enchantment that says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a charge counter on Firemind's Research. For 1 and a blue, remove 2 counters from it and draw a card. For 1 and a red, remove 5 counters from it and deal 5 damage to any target. Now, in decks that, like Stormy decks or just instance control-y decks, you're going to put a lot of counters on this very quickly. You don't draw the card you need, you take 2 counters off and draw again, keep going until you find the next piece of your combo or a useful card, and if you really need to and you've got loads of counters on it, deal 5 damage to someone's face.
Do you remember when Wizards said they weren't going to do Storm again?
They just did Storm.
I feel like they're lying to us.
Well, there's another card that does Storm again, but we're not going to talk about that one, right?
Nope, not talking about that card. My next card is Underrealm Lich.
Yeah.
3 generic, 1 black and 1 green for a 4/3 zombie elf shaman. Because you need more creature types. If you would draw a card, instead look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put 1 into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. You may also pay 4 life, and the Lich gains indestructible until end of turn, and you tap it.
So it's Tegan, but in green instead of blue?
But yeah, the draw engine is lovely on this, and especially, this is such a great set from Ultrotha. I'll draw a card, and then I'll put a card into my graveyard, which is also my hand.
It's such a good card. My next one is Izoni?
We're not good with names.
Izoni Thousand-Eyed. It's 2 black, green, so very heavy on the colour symbols there.
Would you like some devotion?
For a 2/3 Elf Shaman, so you think, well, that's a 6 mana 2/3, what? But then you see the ability, Undergrowth. When Izoni enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 black and green insect token for each creature card in your graveyard. Again, creature-heavy decks are going to love this. But that by itself probably wouldn't make it worth it.
But that's not all.
The second ability of black-green, sacrifice another creature, gain a life and draw a card. Card draw.
Instant speed sacrifice outlets.
And that is the other bit, yes. The sacrifice outlets you need for decks that sacrifice things for reasons.
That's a sick card.
It's a beautiful card. It's, I'd say, fairly costed. A lot of the sacrifice outlets, like Visera Seer, are too cheap. They're really ridiculous. This is a reasonably costed one. And it makes a lot of stuff as well. It can make incredible amounts of creatures.
Yeah, this can go straight from nothing to you have a board state and a draw engine in one card. That's really good.
If you have the White Enchantment we spoke about earlier, so say in Gave, and then you play this and you make 12 4/4 Flying Vigilant Angels, you've won. There's not much you can do to stop that.
What even is this set? My next favourite one is a card that I am, well, both me and the Professor are both exceptionally confident we'll see play in Modern, but also in Commander, the far better format. Knight of Autumn. 1 generic, 1 green and 1 white for a Dryad Knight. There's also a 2/1. When Knight of Autumn enters the battlefield, choose 1. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on Knight of Autumn, destroy target artifact or enchantment, or you can gain 4 life.
So it's Rex Sage that if they don't have an artifact or enchantment, comes in as a 4/3 for 3.
Or gain some life,
If you're playing Burn, you gain 4 life.
It's just options upon this is a good card, get in all of my green-white decks.
Versatility. My next one is Beacon Bolts, which is 1 blue-red for a sorcery. It deals damage to target creature equal to the total number of instances of sorceries you own in exile and in your graveyard. Simple, it'll kill a vast amount of creatures if you're playing a control deck, and the jump starts to cast it twice. Makes it great. You can kill a commander, they waste a load of mana to cast it, you kill it again from the graveyard. The only thing that's stopping this from being amazing is the sorcery speed, but it's just so good looking.
It is really good. That's blue-red creature removal.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that it's like equal to the number of instances of sorceries in your graveyard. It's going to be at least lethal for most things.
It's going to kill something.
Yeah.
My next one is definitely a commander, and it's just... I love this card. Lazav the Multifarious. 1 blue and 1 black for a 1/3 shapeshifter. When Lazav the Multifarious enters the battlefield, surveil 1. And X. Lazav the Multifarious becomes a copy of target creature card in your graveyard with converted mana cost X, except its name is Lazav the Multifarious, it's legendary in addition to its other types, and it has this ability.
So it's Lazav that we all know and love, or hate, depending on your view. But half the price, well, half the mana cost.
Literally half the mana cost.
Literally half the mana cost. And it is scarier. I would argue this is better.
What more do you want from this blue and black card?
He loses hexproof, but becomes way cheaper to cast.
It doesn't have hexproof. No,
copy a creature with hexproof.
No, but you can copy a creature with hexproof.
Or the things I like to see is you copy a creature with unblockable, and then you attack and then change it for something that's huge once they can't block it.
Yeah, there's so many tricks and interactions with this card. Oh, you destroy one of my combo pieces. Oh, would you look at that? It's like another combo piece.
Yeah, it's a really cool card. It'll be interesting to see what people do with this. We have a guy in our playgroup, Oliver, you know who you are, who loves Lazav, and he is making this deck, so it'll be cool to see how well it plays out, and hopefully we'll get to see it in the future.
I love this card.
So the next one I picked, there's a split card. I love my split cards. It's Find and Finality. So for a hybrid black-green, sorcery speed, return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand.
Card value.
Yeah, 2 mana, return 2 creatures. That is good.
Is that instant speed?
That is sorcery speed, I'm afraid. And then the other half is Finality for black-green. You may put up to 2 1/1 counters on a creature you control, then all creatures get -4/-4 till the end of turn. I would use this card primarily for the first half, but the second half may be relevant if you want to get rid of tokens. Your dude survives if it's a 4/4 or a 3/3, you make it big enough to live.
Yeah.
It's not a bad half, I just prefer the first bit.
Yeah, it's still really good. It's versatile. And my last multicolored card is again, perhaps a commander? I haven't honestly decided yet. Niv Mizzet Parun. For triple blue and triple red, we have a 5/5 legendary creature dragon wizard with. This spell can't be countered, flying, and whenever you draw a card, Niv Mizzet Parun deals 1 damage to any target, and whenever a player casts an instant sorcery spell, you draw a card.
Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell.
Do you remember when Wizards told us they didn't like Storm? I feel like they keep lying to us about that.
To be fair, 6 mana, all of colours, is pretty difficult to cast.
Yeah, it is.
In a format like anything other than Commander.
It is really... It's this spell can't be countered bit that just keeps me coming back to it.
You can still kill it though.
Yes, but in response you kill them. Oh... It's really, really good, and I keep going back and forth as to how good it is, but I'll settle somewhere between insane and very good for the time being.
Yeah, because essentially you play an instant or sorcery, deal them 1 damage, draw another instant or sorcery, play it, deal them 1 damage, and just repeat. But the fact that it's any player casting an instant or sorcery...
In response, kill it. Okay, I'm going to draw a card in response to you trying to kill it.
You get value from them trying to deal with it, which is sick. So my final multicolored card is Response and Resurgence. It's hybrid, red-white, red-white. Instant speed, it deals 5 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Not bad.
Yeah, it's alright.
The other side, though, is where it gets good. 5 mana, 3 a red and a white for a sorcery. Creatures you control gain First Strike and Vigilance until the end of turn. After this main phase, there's an additional combat phase followed by an additional main phase. Now bear in mind your creatures retain First Strike and Vigilance until the end of turn, so you can attack with them twice, First Strikey, and they will still be untapped to block your opponent's next turn.
It's really good.
For 5 mana. It's good.
That's nearly quite game winning.
That could be game winning. It's not quite taking an extra turn, but it may smash them in the face twice.
Yeah, it's as close as you're going to get for 5 mana in Boros. And now we're moving on to the lands, which, let's just get this out the way. Shocklands! Yeah! Oh god, they're so beautiful. And I love the new art.
But don't forget, Guild Gates are also coming back. Moving
swiftly onwards.
There's only 2 other land in the set, so we'll just beat through them. There is Gateway Plaza, which enters the battlefield tapped. It's also a gate, relevant. Whenever it enters the battle, stop looking at me like that. Whenever it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you pay 1. Tap, add 1 mana of any colour. Doesn't say see a mana pool, that still freaks me out.
Yeah, we'll get used to it eventually. Probably not.
It is literally a reprint of Rupture Spire. It's literally a reprint of Rupture Spire and Transguild Promenade.
Yeah.
I suppose if you really need that...
You can fetch it, because it's a gate with that green card.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that. My Wall of Vines... Is it Wall of Vines? My Gatecreeper Vines can fetch this for my Arcades deck.
That's pretty good, actually.
That's pretty sick. It's a weird... If it's like for a 2-colour deck, I wouldn't put it in.
No.
3 or 4 or 5, I'd say maybe. Yeah. And the last land is Guild Mage's Forum, which is not a gate. Land, tap, add colourless. 1 tap, add 1 mana of any colour. If that mana is spent on a multicoloured creature spell, that creature enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. So this reminds me a little bit of Forge of Heroes or Opal Palace.
Not quite as good as Opal Palace,
but it hits all creatures in a multicoloured, not just your commander.
Not just your commander. So it's not as strong, but it's much wider.
If you have a heavy multicoloured deck, let's say you're playing Momia Vig, this will be great on that because most things in there would be multicoloured.
Or Joda.
Yes. Or anything that is 5 coloured. I imagine most of that's going to be multicoloured.
Yeah.
Ignoring slivers. Well, even 4-coloured decks like Bray, most stuff's multicoloured, to be honest. So it seems like it may have its place. The only thing is it taps for colourless unless you put another mana into it. It's a little bit
It's not a staple, but it's interesting.
Yeah, we'll see if it sees any real play. But that is it for our thoughts on Guilds of Ravnica as far as Commander is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what you think in the comments below. If there's any cards we've missed out that you think will see some really cool play, or any interactions of certain heavily played themes that you think would be good.
And just on one last thought, yes, we know this card is good. We didn't miss it out. And as always, if you like this series, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to let us know. Feel free to leave a comment below and subscribe to us on Twitter @4Commander. And if you really like us, you can feel free to support us on Patreon. And we will see you next time. Bye.
See ya.